PR has traditionally been seen as the poor relation, and we've been in our little silo. And when I first started out, there was the ad agency, now the creative agency, and they were God, and everybody listened to what they said, and no one listened to what we had to say. And actually, it has really transformed now, and it is really important. We are at the table with all the other agencies in the mix. We are very involved in that brand process. But I think what's Judy's point. We've got to be imbued with the business. We've got to understand it so we can actually tell the story. And I know, we spend a lot of time with Judi and her team on that sort of content development and the tone of voice and getting that right. And that's so crucial. And it has to work across all platforms. And even if we're not directly involved in the social media or other aspects of it, sometimes we are, sometimes we're not, we need to be involved in those conversations. And I think, there is now an understanding that we should be there. And in some instances, what we're doing now, even before we started working with clients, is actually we're involving them in our idea generation process. So we're actually inviting our clients to our brainstorms so they can be part of it, because equally it's that thing that they then actually start to take ownership and they understand where we're coming from. Because I think, there is, and I'm sure everyone will be familiar with, you're told this is something and it's a great story, and actually, it's not quite such a great story, but if you've been involved earlier on, you might be able to help make it into that great story.
The beauty of kind of all agency working is you'll have, say for example, a kind of a creative platform that you're working to, and that's, that may have come together from the ad agency, the creative agency, input from the marketing team, the PR team, and then you've kind of got this lovely kind of moment when it works brilliantly together is actually when you can start to kind of, take out the pieces of the pie and see how it does work across these different channels. And I think the bit where PR agencies come in is that what we understand is that it's got to have a media lens on it. So what will work in advertising is not always what's going to work in editorial. And that's the bit that I think a marketing team sometimes will miss, because it's this sweet spot where you've got what the brand wants to say, which is really, really important. Of course it is. But it's also what the media are willing to hear about and to publish, because we are talking about earned media. So we have to persuade journalists, persuade the media to want to feature this. There's no money changing hands, so we're not paying for this space. So that's the clever bit, and that's where I think PR is really interesting, because we have to know that bit. We have to know what's going to land, what's of interest to the consumer, why contextually is it relevant for the media to talk about this now. So there's no point launching a product if it's not relevant to anybody. And it's the relevancy bit that we can do. And often you'll work with an ad agency, and I love the ad agency, I've got nothing against them, but they'll have a big budget that they can create a fantastic concept where they can stick it on an out-of-home billboard, paying for it to be there. Great. We don't have that luxury, so we can't take something, say to Tony Turnbull of the Times, and go, hey, feature this. He's going to be like, no, why should I? So that's the skill. But then once you've got the fantastic brains and thinkings of the ad agency combined with our kind of input and knowledge, then then you've got great campaigns.
The combination.
Yeah.